name's Owen, and I'm the Dungeon Master of our Return of the Giants 5th edition homebrew campaign.
Hi, I'm Ali. I'm playing Lyra, the Eladrin Druid, and she is just a little bit obsessed with mushrooms.
Hi, my name's Simon. I'm playing the character of Ember. I'm a wildfire druid who's on a quest to be the very best there ever was.
Hi, I'm Dave, and I play Harry Harrington, the Harengon, the roguish merchant with the heart of gold.
My name is Christian. I'm playing Bartholomew, the romantic dancing Owlin Paladin of devotion.
Hi, my name is Matt, and I'll be playing Niles Silverwind, the Owlin Way of the Sympathy Monk.
Hey guys, I'm Jared. I play the character of Threign, the boisterous frost giant, the Goliath, path of the giant barbarian.
Hello there, lovely listener. This is just a warning to let you know that this episode of Return of the Giants may contain adult language or adult themes. Hello!
Hey!
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Lost Archives. It is wonderful to see you and hear your lovely voices and via text form in chat. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. We are very excited to be getting back into our Return of the Giants campaign, particularly because it has been almost 10 days since I last played D&D, and I've been getting to itch. We did try to run our Curse of Strahd session on Monday, but the Brisbane internet gods deemed us unworthy, and we had two players and myself finding a stable internet connection hard to acquire. I'm not sure whether it was because of some service on the network, but there was something affecting Brisbane internet on Monday night. What was that, Ali?
Weird.
Mine was like in and out, like on that same Monday night, and I just thought it was like my Wi-Fi router just on the fritz or whatever. But
No, it was me. It was Tom. I think Jacob had some trouble too earlier in the day. It was something was up with the internet in Brisbane on Monday night. There were a few of us. Yeah, I'm with Aussie too. Aussie are normally pretty good. I don't know if Tom is with Aussie. I'll ask him. But we didn't have our session on Monday night, which means that I've not played D&D in a while, so I have got very much the itch. Now, few announcements tonight. First and foremost, this is the first session that we've had since we hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So firstly, I'd like to say thank you so much, everybody. Every single one of you bloody legends who has hit that subscribe button, who has hit like or commented on one of our videos, thank you so much. It has been such a huge help. I have just finished setting up all of the channel membership perks. They are now live if you wanted to jump on board that. Otherwise, the fact that we've hit that 1,000 subs has been a massive help. I've already seen a bit of a jump in the impressions that YouTube is letting us obtain, which I was told would happen when we pass that 1K level. So thank you so much, everybody. For those of you who are listening who have not yet hit the subscribe button, don't worry, it's not too late. You can hit it right now. There's no problems. You just hit that button right now, and it's done. You've done it. If you want to turn on the notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video comes out, you absolutely can do that. I personally do that for a lot of my favorite channels, but there are some where I know I'm going to check it out anyway, and I don't need the notification. So it's up to you. I'm happy for you to do the notification bell however you want, but that subscribe button, become a bloody legend, and absolutely give that a hit. If you're listening on the podcast, easiest way to help us out is to head across to YouTube if you have a YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button. Otherwise, if you can leave a rating on the podcast, that also is a massive, massive help. And for you bloody legends on Twitch, just keep chatting in chat. We love you. We think you're great. We'll just keep chatting with you. Twitch legends know who you are.
Surviving Aftermath.
What was that? Sorry?
What's this?
Surviving the Aftermath. Yeah, so this is the next thing I was going to say. So while we had a little bit of time off, obviously last week I was away in Adelaide for a work trip. Because I didn't want the channel to just be dead for a week, and this is what I often do whenever there's periods of downtime, I will quickly play a PC game, I will record it, and I will publish episodes of it. This is a really fun game, Surviving the Aftermath, that I've been playing for the last little bit, that I've posted a whole bunch of episodes up. They're going to be dropping over Christmas while we're away as well. I have recorded, I believe it's 30 hours of Surviving the Aftermath, so there's plenty of content. Please enjoy. I jumped in expecting to mildly enjoy this game because the previous game called Surviving Mars I loved. and I was expecting like a post-apocalyptic survival city builder. This sounds like it. This tickles my pickle a bit. Let's give it a go. It's really good. I'm really enjoying it. I can't stop playing.
So what's the appeal on? Like, sell me on this game. I have no idea what this game is.
The progression is beautiful. The artwork I really enjoy. The story aspect of it I really like. It's got kind of a little bit Fallout vibes, but it's the immediate.
Shooter or?
Yeah, so there's no first person stuff. It's all kind of like managing a city and a settlement in the aftermath of the end of the world, and you recruit specialists so you can send out to a larger world map and explore and gather resources.
I'm watching gameplay just for the quick sort of fast forwarded, and it's giving me like Civ vibes.
It's a little bit similar to Civ. I'd actually say it's a combination of Civ and Age of Empires, where your city management is like Age of Empires style. You've got a territory that you explore, you push back the fog of war, there's enemies that you fight on it, you build on a free grid, and then you move out to this hex grid of the larger world map, which is all hex tiles that you can explore and send your specialists to go and travel around. It's really fun. It was free on Epic. I did immediately after, I think I played 10 hours and immediately purchased all of the DLC and then added it to the game because the DLC is fantastic as well. I really recommend checking it out. It's really fun. It's not sponsored. I just enjoy playing it.
Nice.
It's just fun.
If some of the people who love your face and watch you play it, you could organize. I mean, if it's like Age of Empires and whatnot with multiplayer, you could organize.
Sadly, no multiplayer yet, but I do have some good news. Mostly for the lovely people who watch us on Twitch and on YouTube. There are going to be some community fun games coming out very shortly. I will post times with plenty of notice. These will be games that I can play with you guys. I'm going to start off with a whole bunch of the really fun VR games which are multiplayer, where one person's in VR and everyone else can be on their phones. The one in particular I've been loving is called Akron. This I will be doing as a little Christmas special. I'm in VR, I'm a giant tree, you're on your phones, you're tiny squirrels, you're trying to steal my acorns, I'm trying to obliterate you. It is one of the most fun games you can ever imagine. It sounds dumb as shit. It's brilliant. I think one of my favorite moments was realizing I could pick up the squirrels and yeet them into the stratosphere. So for those who are watching on their phones, it's like first person for you. You're like running around as a little squirrel. Third person, like over the shoulder of a squirrel trying to steal the stuff. You've got special classes, special abilities. And then in the middle of the map, there's this giant fucking tree with this angry face throwing bits at you, like trying to pick you up and hurl you away, trying to spray sap at you to knock you out. It's really fun. It sounds dumb, but it is a lot of fun. And
you're spraying your sap at the followers?
You know it. So we're going to be doing that as a hot tub stream. No, so I'll make sure there's plenty of notice on the Discord for when that's coming out, because I believe... No,
we're not even putting that behind a paywall, guys.
No, you can have up to 12 people. You can have up to 12 people playing, as well as the tree. So there's plenty of space for people to come and go and have a bit of fun. It's very hard for the tree when there's that many people. But don't worry, I will go my absolute fucking hardest. The last time I played this with a bunch of players, I think we had 8 of my friends. I was drenched in sweat by the end of it, and I had successfully punched a hole in the wall. I got that into it. So I will try not to do that this time.
Walk your boundaries, man. You got all the boundaries set up.
There's a point in the game where my brain just filters out the virtual boundary, and I don't give a shit. If I can punch this squirrel, I'm gonna do it. And that, please don't take that out of context. Anyone who's clipping shit. But yeah, it's gonna be. I can see you, Christian. Moving your mouse around. Nice. But yeah, so that'll be coming out really soon, and there's a whole bunch of other ones. Obviously, Jackbox games are super fun. There's loads of other ones. So yeah, you'll be seeing more and more of that. Some of them I will have for members only, but some of them I won't. And the ones that are members only, for those of you who weren't able to make it live for the members, you'll be able to watch it afterwards. It'll be up for everyone to watch after a couple of weeks. The other fun announcement I have as well is that a few people have messaged me saying, would I do a Minecraft survival server? I hadn't considered it. I actually quite like Minecraft. Would I do a modded Minecraft survival? Yeah, probably.
There's
all the mods 8.
There's literally the D&D content of Minecraft.
Yeah. And all the mods 8 looks pretty damn nice. I played all the mods 6 when it came out a while ago. I really enjoyed it. I was an original Skyblock player when it first came out, the modded Skyblock. So
I play the shit out of that. I haven't played Minecraft in ages, but D&D with Minecraft, I could see myself completely just losing hours of my life.
So The answer is yes, I am considering it. It will be something for the new year. I will keep you posted when that's coming. That is pretty much all the fun announcements. The unfun announcement I have to share is that for those of you who are watching on Twitch or YouTube, you'll have noticed a couple of faces grayed out. For those who are listening to the podcast, there are some voices you will not have heard. Obviously, Jared is not joining us tonight because he has COVID, so Jared is resting up. Hope you get better soon, mate. That sucks. I think this is his third go with COVID?
I think so.
I think it's his third round.
He's had a rough trot.
He's had a rough trot. So sorry, mate. I hope you're feeling better soon.
Well,
Simon,
between COVID and his knee, he's
I know.
Been in the wars a little. Yeah.
He needs to work on his constitution. It's clearly his dump stat for real life.
We're just controlling that one's one or the other.
Yeah. All the mods 9. Wait, there's all the mods 9 and 10? I didn't know there were new all the mods. Okay, well, never mind. We're playing all the mods 10. I didn't know there was a new all the mods. The other Simon can't join us tonight because he is at a lovely event with his family. Dave can't join us because he got married over the weekend. So obviously, massive congrats to Dave and Liv. It was an absolutely stunning wedding. I was very, very privileged to be invited, and thank you so much. It was absolutely gorgeous. I will see if I can convince Dave to send some photos of the venue up onto the Discord because it was beautiful. It was stunning. It was in the Yarra Valley. It was gorgeous. So Dave is obviously spending time with his missus. However, I would like to add that the day after the wedding, I got a notification that someone was playing Rocket League. So my question to you, Dave, is what were you doing the day after why were you on Rocket League, mate? So I thought that was kind of funny. Dave will be... Oh, no, exactly. So perfect timing. Dave will be joining us next week, but you will not see too much of him in the new year because they're going away on a very well-deserved holiday and honeymoon. So I'll let you know when Dave's back with plenty of notice, but you will get to see him next week. Okay, that's all the announcements. Let's play some D&D. I can see Christian's got a dice ready in his hands. He's so keen. He's just like a supervillain rolling it between his fingers.
Let's D20 for the night. This is how good tonight's session is gonna go.
What if it's a natural 1? 15's pretty good. 15's pretty good.
Pretty good.
I was gonna say rolling a D20 between your fingers is the DM equivalent of patting a cat as a supervillain in Austin Powers. That's cool.
A liquid core, huge gold one.
Oh my
like
god.
Outside.
For podcast listeners, Christian is holding up a dice the size of I'd probably say like a closed fist.
Nearly.
Yeah, basically. Nearly a closed fist with swirling green motes throughout and golden inscribed numbers on the outside.
I
want in a raffle.
I want one. That's sick.
And it's hefty enough like a baseball that if I have any more troubles, I'll just...
Oh, yeah.
We obviously don't condone violence at the Lost Archives, but if you were going to commit violence, D20-based violence is the violence I would condone. Alrighty, let's jump into the session. I will read a recap, and we will be jumping straight back into the session. So, previously... The Tempest Adventuring Guild, a name now legendary across the lands of Nostea, has formed a brand new team. Lyra, Niles, Harry, Ember and Threign are delving deep below the earth, into the Underdark, seeking to investigate rumours of stone giants taking over territory and arming for war. Travelling deep below the earth, guided by some deep gnomes currently afflicted with a brutal poison, the team arrived in the vast network of caverns which make up the Underdark. Soon after arriving in the smaller chamber off of the main pathway, the team were ambushed by 2 ropers, monstrous beings resembling stone stalactites with large rope-like tentacles. A stranger rushed to their aid, an Owlin dressed in ragged clothing, wielding a large sword, and helped defeat these creatures and their master, a crazy Darrow. Which I realise is tautology. Darrows are crazy by nature. Introducing himself as Dream, the Owlin assisted in healing the deep gnomes and opted to travel with the team to help locate their village. After travelling through mushroom forests bordering on the edge of the Darklake, the team stumbled across a myconid colony. Proving themselves as no threat to the Circle, the group were invited into the colony to rest and help with the myconids laying to rest one of their own. The 3 sovereigns of the myconid colony requested assistance from the party in destroying the monsters responsible for the death of their companion. Fish-like creatures inhabiting a deeper subterranean chamber closer to the western edge of the Circle. Deciding to explore the colony first, the team headed over to the western edge and discovered they weren't the only guests of the Myconids. Zaylin, a drow currently on the run from Lolth-sworn assassins, had been relying on the protection of the Circle for a number of years. Initially cautious, the team were able to partially win her trust, and she opened up about her history with the Lolth-sworn drow and the reason she was being hunted. After making a bargain to return her after dealing with the Kuatoa, the team left her to her solitude. Last session, the team made their way to the site of the ambush by the Kuatoa, the team spending a little time chatting and learning more about one another, while Harry played with the magic wand he had picked up a couple of sessions ago. To the surprise of all, the wand activated, allowing Harry to perceive an aura of magic around enchanted items and locations, allowing him to see an illusionary wall. Inside, the team found an abandoned research outpost and the desiccated corpse of a humanoid dressed in dark robes marked with the symbol of an eye. While Ember and Niles searched the notes scattered across the desk, learning this place was created by the Society of Brilliance to research Susa trees, Dream cast the spell Speak with Dead upon the corpse. It was revealed the body was that of Davian Hornsorrow, a researcher for the Society of Brilliance who had been killed by a monstrous entity covered in tentacles in the caverns of the Kuatoa. We left off last session as the team found some interesting items in a hidden chest, while Threign and Dream kept watch out the front, and I realised that the team had actually not remembered the name Davian Hornsorrow. I have now very generously as a DM re-provided that information to them. Whoops. That's funny. I remember, hadn't chat renamed him Reginald Fingerbottom, I think was, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah. That's right. Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's a shame for me. Never mind. And please enjoy that free information. We left off last session as Threign and Dream were keeping watch out the front of the caverns, while the rest of the team had just explored the back of the caverns and found a few interesting items hidden in a chest: a strange chime, a black candle, a strange jug, a glowing tiger eye, and a strange compass, all of which have now been added to their inventories. We're going to jump straight back in with Dream and Threign. We ended with the two of you last time. I'll play the character of Threign for the moment, and I'm going to try and keep any of the intense, heavy character-driven roleplay with the players who are here, not with players who are not. As I often try to do, I will try and limit how much I have to play the player characters. Perfect. Dream. As you stand out the front of the caverns, you and Threign had been chatting a little bit about what was found inside. You'd spent a bit of time catching Threign up. Threign having left during the conversation with the corpse, finding it not very interesting to his liking and deciding to keep watch instead. As you just finished sort of taking him through what happens inside, he sort of nods a little bit, looks back and goes, "Were there any weapons inside the cavern that they would have liked?"
No, not really. I don't think so. It was more just a bunch of learned things, glasses, books, robes.
Nerd things.
Not so much the kinds of armor or weapons. No.
Boring things.
Yes.
You will be pleased to know I have not seen any sign of danger. Although I must say this underground cavern is starting to make me feel nervous. I feel like I'm always being watched here. Is that a common thing for this area, or is that just me right now?
I have the same feeling, but I think it's just paranoia because there is no safe place in this underground. That being said, you do bring up a point, though. It's never too good of an option to stay in one place for too long. The others are discussing some of the items inside, but I would hate for the Kuatoans to attack the village again. I'm going to sort of shout back through the illusion. We can chat about... I did want to talk to you about a revenge and a vengeance. Sometime. It's a new concept for me. I had planned on leaving here, to be honest, but maybe not if this drow woman can point me in a direction, and if I have some compatriots willing to aid. Everyone, Threign hasn't seen anything, but that may not be a good sign. We've been here for a while. How much longer do you think we're going to be cleaning everything up inside?
Oh, I believe we're nearly done, aren't we, Harry?
Harry looks up from the false bottom of the chest, having tucked away the things, and goes, "Oh, yeah, pretty sure that's everything we were looking for. Pretty sure I got everything inside the chest."
Yes, we're quite thorough. You should have seen me pick this lock. It was quite impressive.
Oh, yeah, you're not bad at that, Niles.
Yes, well, perhaps I'm a bit of a prodigy then.
Well, anything else that we haven't come across yet? I guess we could just come back here another time. This place was hidden by this illusion. I doubt anyone else is going to find it again.
That's a good
Plus,
point.
we can always remember about it if we never need like a sort of a safe hiding spot.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I could use my wand to see it if we ever needed to.
Ah, well, I think in that case we should probably be on our way then. Shouldn't we head off?
Just be careful about that tripwire. I think it's still there.
Oh, yes.
I think Harry disarmed it. Harry
We
disarmed it.
Yeah.
Harry disarmed it last turn.
Yep.
Last session.
Last time.
Perfect. As the four of you, Niles, Ember, Harry, and Lyra, begin making your way out of the cave, Threign turns back to you, Dream, and nods. Yes, I would like to talk about vengeance and revenge at some point, but I will say this. My people believe in honor. And if your honor has been slighted, or has been treated in a way that is not becoming, it is your right to seek an honorable battle to restore honor. That is what I have always believed. And I will support you in your quest. I believe it is a quest of honor.
Yes. I
Rain
guess
just
so.
nods and glances at your back ever so subtly.
I am going to walk over and speaking in common, but Kongchi is able to understand my language being my summoned steed.
Yes.
Walk over to the fire rev of my my steed, and I'm just going to ask Kongchi, do you mind just using your hoofs, scratch a little bit just to the side of the entrance? I'm going to point out, even like as I'm standing beside Kongchi, a section right beside the entrance where hopefully it can mark a little bit of the rock just with some scratches. Almost like a bear marking its territory on trees. Because I was going to leave something, but I feel like something could just be taken, whereas this is...
Yeah.
Scratching technically on the rock could last the ages.
The good news is Kongchi can do you one better. While the back legs are the cloven, like ungulate feet of a deer, the front legs are the clawed paws of a fox. So you watch as, complying with your demands, absolutely, very, very quickly, Kongchi sort of nuzzles into you, pushing up against you, then reaches over and claws at the rock face a little bit. Could I get you to roll me, let's just say a D100 for Kongchi, just to see.
Yeah.
Just a
As
flat
Kongchi sort of
dice.
snuggles in, I'll scratch underneath his chin. And a D100.
A D100. Whoa,
51, just above
51. That actually is kind of working out to your favor. The higher the number, the more obvious the markings. The lower the number, the less obvious the markings. You've kind of nailed it with a 50, right? Because you want it to be obvious to someone who knows it's there, but not so obvious that other people are going to come and investigate it. So actually, in this instance, you wanted to roll pretty average, and 51 is about as average as you can get. So, which is...
Are fire revs omnivorous?
Yes, they are.
Okay, I'll grab like a mushroom from the ground and like, good boy, and feed it to Kongchi.
Yeah, you watch as Kongchi sort of munches away at its very canine-like mouth, sort of crunching as the lips pull back, revealing the full set of teeth along the jaw. You know how dogs, when they chew something a little bit chewy, they sort of pull their lips all the way back at the back of the mouth. Yeah, because they don't have lots of molars, right? They've only got about 4 molars at the very, very back of the mouth. So to chew something, they really have to push it back.
I will then swing up and mount on top of Kongchi, waiting for the others to make their way out.
Perfect. the rest of you may rejoin at your own leisure. If there's anything else you wanted to do in the cave with the Society of Brilliance, that's entirely up to you. Speak now, or I will assume we are moving on.
Admittedly, Matt the player doesn't really remember much of the cave, so I think Niles is probably happy just to move on at this point.
So just to repaint the picture in your minds, there was 2 chambers. The one at the front had some barrels and boxes stacked up, behind one of which is the corpse. Then there was a desk set up as well in that first chamber, covered with some papers and notes, which had mostly been destroyed. Ink had spilled over them and then dried. There was also that small cut out into the wall that led to a second chamber at the back where there were a few sleeping pallets and the chest, as well as a larger desk that you investigated. And that was what was protected by the tripwire.
Probably as we're leaving, Niles will just do like one quick little glance just to see if he's satisfied with everything and as
Lyra might help them. Just thinking that there might be something stashed underneath the mattress or something. Do
you want to roll a perception or investigation check with advantage then, Matt, for Niles?
I will definitely do a perception check.
That's so funny. I completely forgot you guys had not gotten the name of the dead NPC.
Perception though.
When you said, I was like, oh, he said it.
Write it down. Yeah.
Well, it's a 24. Damn.
23 and 24. We'll take the 24. Niles, as you have a bit of a peek around, the barrels at the front of the chamber, the ones in the antechamber, look to probably have once held food and water. The water has long soaked through and then drained away. The food spoiled and rotted into dust. In terms of the previous room, the one that Harry had found the false bottom, as you have a bit of a look around the chamber, not under the beds, but stuffed into one of the pillowcases, you do find a letter. Unfortunately, the beds themselves are made of what looks like some sort of organic straw-like mycelium that has been eaten away by many, many burrowing insects, and they have not discriminated between parchment and the bedding. However, the letter that still remains, you can see is the bottom, the signature line. The letter reads, it starts mid-sentence, and you can see the signature at the bottom, but the mid-sentence at the bottom reads, "Unacceptable terms. No way forwards now. I must return to the surface and the university. I will contact when I can. Signed, with love, Professor Grell."
Oh,
I know it. Even though
Actually, it wouldn't say Professor Grell. It would say Celius Grell.
Celius Grell. I think. I mean, this thing's probably quite fragile.
Wish Dream knew, so I could have fucking asked.
Fuck. Does anyone have? No, it's okay. I mean, Niles kind of like ponders this a little bit. Is there a way to like pick it up, like not touching, because I guess Niles doesn't want to like pick the letter up because he's afraid that it'll break.
Yes.
Can
but
you
is there?
Into the bag of holding?
That's what I want to do. I'm going to try and like scoop it up and put it into the bag of holding rather than like touching it directly. I want to like.
What about a feather? Like, can you use like a feather to sort of scoop under it just so gently?
I guess that's a good point. I think Niles maybe like uses his like wing to like get in underneath it and like kind of like dexterously kind of flick it up into the bag of holding that he's holding with his hands.
Definitely. Could I please get a sleight of hand check, please?
Yeah, absolutely. That is something he's decently good at.
Something Niles is decently good at.
That's an 18.
Sleight of wing check. As you very carefully open up your bag of holding, position it close to the edge of the pillowcase, and then gently waft the paper over. You watch as it disappears into the blackness of the bag of holding, vanishing from sight.
Close it up tight and continues on his way. Satisfied with, feels like he's seen everything that he needs to be seen, and kind of nods to himself and goes, "Okay,
perfect.
Time to go."
As you make your way back outside and regroup with the rest of the team, you can see that the pathway that had led you here does carry on around the edge of this rock face. This was a little detour you took to investigate the strange illusionary wall that Harry had spied with his magic rod. But now that the magic has faded, as soon as you step out from beyond the wall, it's almost impossible to tell there was anything here. If you didn't know already that an illusion was there would be no way to tell that this is in place, apart from some very faint, fresh scratches just at the bottom of the cave wall, almost invisible to the naked eye if you were not carefully searching for what you wanted to see. As the six of you begin making your way through the tunnels, Lyra, what do you do? That's a good idea.
Oh yeah. Wow.
So I was just assuming that it's sort of, dusty or sort of dirt floor. She's just sort of gonna wipe away any footprints that were sort of leading into the cave.
Oh yeah.
Just thinking that might be a bit of a telltale sign.
Really, really good idea. Just so that I know how well you do, could you please make me a spellcasting check? So D20 plus your spellcasting.
Will this work? Oh no, that didn't work. Never mind.
No, because Mold Earth's one of those ones that doesn't have an attack style thing. But just to sort of see, I want to see how brilliant you are at this spell, and how carefully you're able to.
If I can get the command.
Just do it as a spell attack. Just roll as a spell attack. Same thing.
Oh yeah, that's all right. Don't mind me.
It's my secret special thing.
Is it gonna roll through?
I believe. I hope. My dreams. Yay! 14.
Yay.
Not bad. Lyra, you. I mean, it's hard as you're moving along, but you focus on the spell, managing to sort of move around. Rather than being dusty, this whole area being so close to the Darklake, the soil is quite damp, and there's a smell of musk and pungent decay in the air all around the areas of the mushroom forest. And as this is only just on the border of the mushroom forest, the soil is still very soft and loamy. But that's kind of perfect for Mold Earth. Yeah, you just ripple the ground, and then the footprints disappear behind you quite quickly until, as far as you can tell, there's no visible signs that you had discovered and entered this hidden cache along your journey. You carry on following the pathway for another 45 minutes or so, as best as you can tell in the perpetual bioluminescent gloom of the Underdark. As you begin moving further and further away from the edge of the mushroom forest, the cavern takes on a much more rocky appearance. But it's quickly apparent that it's no less alive. The fungus that grows here is much more camouflaged. It doesn't take on these massive branching bracket fungus-like appearance or tall stalked trees. It actually resembles almost rocks and broken sections of the floor. And Lyra, you step on a section of rock, only to discover it's a succulent that has grown and coloured itself to look identical to the rocky floor underneath. The only telltale sign? The symmetry that gives away these natural life forms. The wildlife here is abundant as well. Lizards, long, milky white with no eyes, scamper around the gloom. You can see insects, quite large beetle-like insects with these long, glowing, phosphorescent wings that hover them in the air, roughly about the size of a closed fist, that seem to be moving from the rock face to rock face, eating what could only be described as tiny moving specks of light, which upon closer inspection are revealed to be tiny glow beetles, flashing with pulses to warn of incoming predators. The Underdark is alive, in a way almost reminiscent of a bounteous rainforest. I'd say Lyra and actually Niles too. There's similarity. Oh no, I just remembered you're not I was going to say it's much like the jungles that you remember, Matt, but it's not. Yeah. That's not you.
Oh man.
Niles has never been to those jungles. I'm sorry, I was about to compare you to your past character. No. So Lyra, it's much like the jungles of Nunia. The thick vegetation all around, but rather than being choked with green, this area is greys and browns. An entire ecosystem based around camouflage. It's fascinating. The ground too here takes on a different appearance. The soft, loamy earth falls away to reveal rocky terrain, pitted and hollowed. The pathway of water carving endless channels into the rock, hollowing it out almost like honeycomb, the edges of which as you walk along crumble underneath your feet. This was once solid stone, but centuries of water have eroded it into almost like a porous sandstone-like structure. Any irregularities in the rock eroded away at different times and different rates, creating this almost pumice-like ground underneath your feet. As you begin making your way through this section, it immediately becomes apparent that the ground is almost dangerous to walk upon. On the back of your Firav Kongchi dream, you watch as even the sure-footed Firav makes a little stumble, and as the ground beneath you begins to drop away, what looked like a tiny hollow depression is revealed to be a large open shaft disappearing into the darkness below, the surface of which had crusted over with a thin layer of stone, crumbling away into dust. Moving through this section quickly is going to be very difficult. The ground is porous and hollowed out.
Can Lyra stop the party here?
Yeah.
Like, just if we go any further, like, are there like sort of little drops of liquid coming from the ceiling, or
yeah,
is it sort of a?
As you look up, you can see stalagmites lowering from the ceiling above. But rather than stalactites rising to meet them, it looks like the water is trickling off at a steady rate, not slowly dripping. In fact, there's an endless stream of rain falling on you. These trickles from the water above as it drains down, and beneath you can hear the sound of rushing water deep, deep below this hollow cavity.
If I put out a hand and catch a drop, does it just sort of feel like normal water, or is it sort of acidic? Like, does it burn at all?
As you hold out your hand and a few drops of water land on it, you watch as the skin begins to bubble and crack, dissolving through in an instant, revealing the bones. No. As you hold out your hand, it's crystal clear, pure water. As it collects in your hand, you can feel it's cold, quite icy cold actually, but pure, clean water. And as you have a little sip, it's fresh and filtered.
Wow.
All right.
I'd be careful if I were you. You don't know where the stream's coming from, and there could be a dead goat upstream, water running through its carcass. I don't know.
A dead goat down here?
Yes.
That's pretty specific, Dream. Did you put a goat upstream? Is that what you're letting us know about?
No. I'd
Harry chimes in.
read things when I was a child about Goliath, known as Bear Gorls.
Gairbolls is the one you're thinking of. Gairbolls.
Is he?
Yeah.
I look up at Threign and go, is he a friend of yours? Have you heard of this Goliath before, Threign?
Of course I have heard stories of Gairbolls. Brave hero. Travelled around, survives in every environment. He drinks a lot of his own piss, though.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Sounds rather unpleasant.
But no, there may be a dead body upstream. But it's water, so I guess we're heading in the right direction?
Well, yes, we're after these fishy creatures. I suspect that they must be near the water. It seems logical to me. We are. We must be heading in the right direction now.
With Ember's help, could Dream do another survival check?
Absolutely, yeah. Ember, I was going to say, Ember's probably looking around, assessing the area. So, yeah, definitely. You can make a survival check with advantage if you would like.
19.
19's good. Do you want to make another one in case you get a nat 20?
Yeah.
Oh, you've already rolled it? No, I see. You do the... I'm so used to everyone doing the rolls separately. I still have to train my brain to... 19. Dream, as you have a bit of a look around, it's immediately apparent that this is a well-trafficked area. In fact, you can see that there are pathways of footprints across the floor, very specific pathways. A number of the... I mean, this is a wide open cavern area, but only very specific routes seem to be used by those walking. In fact, you can see a few old footprints, some booted, some barefoot, some resembling almost like fin-like appendages, just stopping suddenly at the edge of a crumbled section of the porous rock, giving you the hint that probably whatever creature had made these footprints didn't make it across the cavern without falling through. But there are three specific pathways that seem to be commonly used. The one with the most, I'm going to say at this point, fish-like appearance with the way that the footprints are designed, very webbed-like feet, almost frog-like, seems to be heading towards the north. The tunnel there actually starts heading downwards, and you can see that there are areas of the pumice stone around this leaking water across, almost forming like a little veil of water across this entrance that occasionally splits to reveal the dark tunnel beyond.
You go.
That was a perfectly timed That was gorgeous.
It was. Niles kind of looks around a little bit, taking this all in, and sort of just like I guess before he does what he does, how like naturally bright is this cavern? Like obviously we're in the gloom, but there's a lot of like fluorescent, phosphorant sort of like light sources in this.
So
space.
this area is actually not so fluorescent with plant life. In fact, it's actually the animals that are providing the most light in this cavern. The small, tiny glow bugs that are scuttling across the walls, providing almost like a very soft greenish blue glow throughout the cavern. Okay. The largest source of light is coming from these large beetles, these large flying beetles with the phosphorescent wings.
Yeah, right.
But in terms of comparing this to the mushroom forest, much less bright. In fact, I'd say by this point, Ember's probably ignited his flame in his hand and is helping to use that to create light in the cavern.
Would Ember sort of pull out the glow orb?
Oh yeah, Ember will pull out the glow orb, chuck it to you, Lyra, and then hold out his hand with flame go. I'm happy for you to use this. If you want to use the glow orb, I'll use fire. I'm comfortable with fire.
And how dense is the vegetation here, like in terms of the trees or whatever?
No trees. It's all very much fungus, lichen, and succulents, but all of which have blended into the rock wall to almost make it look like there's no life here at all. It's only when Lyra and Ember kind of point out these succulents that grow along the grounds that look like rocks. You can see there are some mycelium strands that have grown through the rock into the pumice. Right. And there's a few very small branching ferns that have positioned themselves underneath the flowing water from above. Every time the water impacts them, they pulse with a very soft blue light.
Yeah, I guess Niles was considering flying up to get a better idea of the lay of the land, but I like looking around at the stalagmites that are hanging down from the cavern.
Yeah, probably about 40 feet above you.
Yeah, probably. I mean, he might still do it. I think Niles will probably just sort of begin to like fly up a little bit and using his dark vision try to like, obviously scout ahead and see this passage leading to this cavern. But I guess he's trying to see if there's any other paths or any other areas of interest that you can immediately see just in relation to where he is.
Yeah, do you want to make me a perception check? And while you do that, Dream, looks like you had an idea.
Yeah, I'll wait for Niles to get back down though. What I will do in the meantime is, it was a sort of a two-part idea. The ideas man that Dream is trying to be a leader like his father wants him to be. Okay. Lyra, I saw before you were using that magic of yours to help reveal plant life by moving the dirt. How much control over the earth do you have?
It's mostly earth itself. I mean, I do have like a little bit of control over stone.
The holes. Would you be able to fill them?
Maybe?
I know that they're exceedingly deep, but even just an ice-laked crust over the top, so at least we don't have to worry if we were to flee, falling down them.
Yeah, I can definitely give it my best go. On that same topic, actually, I had an idea, and sort of on that topic, she pulls out sort of the rope of her pack and seeing if anyone else has any rope in theirs. I think we maybe, or at least those of us that can't exactly fly, maybe should tie like a rope to each other so that if one person does fall down, we can pull each other up and we don't have another incident like with the bridge and having to try and catch people. That was a whole nightmare in itself.
Harry is tying rope around himself and hands you the other end of it. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. I don't want to fall into the river. I'm not a great swimmer.
Kongchi is pretty steady-footed and these holes look more akin to our size, so hopefully she shouldn't fall down. And might also acts as like an anchor if a couple of us were to fall. So I agree with that.
Yeah, and then with that, I guess Lyra's gonna, if Dream sort of points out sort of the areas that they think might need reinforcement, Lyra's gonna try and use sort of that mold earth and sort of create some pathways that are a little bit more stable for us.
Yeah, I'd say, Dream, you already have a bit of an idea of the various routes that people seem to have taken through safely. I'd say with you at the front pointing those out and Lyra next to you using mold earth to just stabilize any of the narrower sections, it's not speedy going, but it is safe. And that's probably what you're going for in this environment. Yeah.
With Ember creating daylight from his orb, Lyra doing that and me pointing everything out, I'm going to try to wave down Niles just for a moment. Niles, sorry.
Yes?
You look beautiful.
I thank you.
Sorry.
Oh.
You flying? No plans. Scouting.
Yes.
We obviously are able to see in the night, as can 98% of the population of this continent, with our amazing dark vision that is unique to us and nothing else. I was
yes, of course.
could fly ahead. Obviously a bit more quieter than the rest of us. And for us, slowly traveling with a torch, the idea being that we can try to catch them by surprise without losing the element of surprise with the light that we have around us. Once we know where they are, you can obviously fly back to us, and then we can then dim down Ember's light source, if that's okay, Ember.
If you need light, I can provide. If you need dark, I can just turn the light off. Easy.
That way we're safe while we're traveling, but then when we need to jump onto whoever you possibly find ahead of us, the Kuatoas, we can still try to get some sort of attack on them before they get a moment to move. These things are, like we have spoken, cannibalistic creatures.
Yes, I don't fancy being eaten alive by fish people today. But yes, I think if we can get the jump on them, the element of surprise, that would be preferable.
I know we've got you, Harry, but my worry is that there are these pit holes. You may fall into them. I don't know if you have our special dark vision. I think you're one of the few select minorities that does not. On top of that, obviously, with these pit holes, we don't have to worry about that if one of us is flying, as Niles can.
I like look at the trepidation in Dream, and I'm like, I'm sure once we get you to the surface, we might be able to help you in your situation.
Yes, but the plan, thank you.
No. You have my assurance that I will help do whatever I can to restore your wings to you. If there is a way, we will look into it.
Thank you.
Threign reaches down, picks up Harry, puts him on his shoulder and goes, "There, now little bunny won't fall. Why are we standing here?"
Oh, I was actually thinking that, Threign. You should probably be a little bit careful. The ground here is rather unstable, and I kind of look him up and down, and you should be a little bit more sure-footed than the others. I think the element of risk there is a little higher, just due to your.
I am exceptionally light on my feet and stable. And I'm going to roll a quick dexterity check for...
He just collapses through the floor.
Let's do...
Thank you, some reinforcements.
Yeah, let's do a dexterity. Let's do a dexterity check. Let's see. That's a 12. That's not too bad. It could have been worse.
That's pretty good.
Threign behind you... Lyra, you know for a fact that a number of the places he steps, he's only able to step because you just reinforced that area with mold earth. But he stomps along behind you, Harry on his shoulder, being like, "Oh, Threign, look out for that bit. Oh, okay, you're all right. Yeah, you're good, mate. Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, carry on." From the shoulder.
In any case, Dream, yes, I will. I'll fly ahead and see if I can see anything.
Maybe only by, I don't know, 40, 50 meters, not a far distance.
Yes.
To be exact, for certain spells that we may have, maybe about 60 to 90 feet.
Oh yes, of course.
If you'd like me to get very anal about this.
Shouldn't. No. Sounds good. Out of the immediate area of the light, perhaps I can head into the darkness and see what I can see ahead. I should be able to do that pretty quickly, if need be. I can return back.
Lucky you already rolled a perception check for me, Niles.
Yes. It wasn't great. It was only an 11.
11. That's not too bad. It's better than average, just. +5. That was... So you rolled a 6. As you begin flying ahead, Niles, and the rest of the party follow along behind you, it is very tempting to speed up. Your flying requiring you to keep a bit of speed, but you don't want to get too far ahead, so you end up doing these sort of slow circling motions, almost hovering above the party, circumnavigating the airspace above them. As you continue on, it's slow going. Over the course of about half an hour, you very carefully make your way across this very porous section of rock, and as you reach the tunnel beyond and pass underneath the light spray of water partially obscuring it, the tunnel begins to close in much, much tighter. The roof only about 9 feet tall at this point, kind of forcing you down out of the sky, Niles, and back onto land, walking with the rest of the party. But the good news is, the rock underneath does seem a bit more stable here. The water almost redirected away, allowing the rock to maintain its structural integrity.
Cool.
As you begin heading deeper, the minerals around you begin to shift and change. Illumination provided by these glowing streaks of crystal embedded into the rock itself. Something Threign throws aside as, it's just glowstone, and doesn't give you any more information about it. Any more info on that at all. As you do begin making your way deeper into the earth, those of you with the dark vision up to 120 feet, which is both the Owlins, the cavern beyond opens up into a larger section, a large dark pool at its very center, and kneeling on the side of the pool, its back to you, a net cast out over the dark, black, empty water, roughly about 200 feet across. You can see a figure, short, maybe the size of a dwarf, about 5 feet tall, maybe 4 feet tall, dressed in these almost net-like clothings, braided net-like garments, creating a smock as well as what looks like a poncho as well. Yes, Christian.
I'm going to place my hand on Kongchi straight away.
Yeah.
And sort of just imbuing the Fey-like energy of this weird bond that our souls have. When I summoned something, Kongchi was the one that came, almost like a Patronus.
Yeah.
And use on myself protection from poison, but find Steed, any spell that you cast that is a self-target or targets yourself can also
Benefits
target
as
your
well.
mount. Yeah, so I'm going to put protection from poison on both of us.
Nice.
Perfect. As you cast the protection from poison, you mutter the words under your breath, focus the energy, you feel that holy divine light shining from within you, and then a sense of safety, a sense of protection flowing across you. The figure kneeling down by the lake, as you get a bit closer and you begin to see a little bit more clearly, the proportions are wrong. The arms are long, elongated, almost down towards the ground, and you can see the clearly webbed fingers, blue scales running up and down across the arms and body, and the hairless head is elongated, a fish snout pushing out from this large squat body, almost no neck at all. The head rises from this humanoid torso, a fin curls from the top down and is then incorporated into the rope-like poncho the creature is wearing. You can hear it humming quietly to itself as it casts the net out over the dark water and then slowly draws it back. The temptation to sing Gollum's "Our own Lyrish, catch a fish, so juicy sweet," is so overwhelming, I'm going to do it, and I have done it. The rock and pearl is nice and cool. Is what you hear.
Actually, just checking, the way that we were scouting,
Yeah.
would this have been Niles that's just seen it by himself?
Niles had to land, unfortunately, because the pathway down, the roof only became about 9 foot tall as you pass through a long stone corridor, pushing down into this larger cavern. Niles would have been the first one to notice this, closely followed by you, Dream. I assume Niles was still scouting at the front.
Okay. Well, if Niles obviously gave us some
Yeah.
form of a signal, I'm assuming Ember would have then turned off the torch.
Yeah,
or-
Ember
Yeah,
immediately
yeah.
turns the light off. I'd say probably for the corridor, there's no reason for Ember to have had the drift globe on. Ember would have switched to fire because it's a narrow corridor pushing down into the earth. The daylight at that point's not really helping much.
Yeah, I'd say as soon as we entered the cavern, we probably would have turned it
Yeah.
off.
Dream still wants to try to get the element of surprise on the rest of the Kuatoans. So he's going to faintly under his breath hoot, and then So those around him, hopefully here, mount up onto Kong Chi again, rather than walking beside Kong Chi. Fuck. I just realized we're all still tied together, and I wanted to charge it down.
You'd be dragging the party behind you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, Niles pulls out his spear, realizing he doesn't actually have very many ranged weapons, and sort of begins to creep a little bit. Is there any areas of cover or any sort of Is it just an open space? And
I'd say your position inside this narrow corridor kind of limits your field of view. This cavern, at the moment, all you can see as you look out from the corridor is a section, almost like a cone section away from you. You can see about 40 feet of... So you're about 120 feet away from this creature by the time you spot it.
How far... how did you say?
So you're 120 feet away when you spot it using your... Because you've got 120 feet of dark vision, correct, Niles, from memory? Yeah. So you spot it at 120 feet away. The edge of this tunnel is about 80 feet away from the creature. And the creature itself, you can see, is seated on the edge of a large dark pool that stretches out far into the darkness. But in terms of the land that you can see on either side, you can't really see anything. The cavern wall, the tunnel wall, restricts your view of the cavern on either side.
Okay. Dream's
Harry...
gonna undo...
Yeah.
Oh,
there you go.
Sorry.
No.
Dream's gonna undo the knot on Kong Chi, and then with Lyra having brought up Swampy, Niles at the ready as well, and then the others all on standby, is going to sort of just give a mental command through Fine Steed rather than talking this time, to do what foxes do, because this is a fox and an elk, and stalk and try to just get within 60 feet of range. So just another 20 feet forward.
As you go to start moving, Harry places a paw on your back, Dream. Did you want me to go and check it out? I can have a quick look, see if there's anything to look at. I'm pretty stealthy.
If you would like to get something at the ready, ranged, we're here obviously to remove the Kuatoans. You've already seen what a Dao is like, a Duro. We know these Kuatoans have already attacked the treants. This is a kill on sight situation. This is not a negotiation.
You reckon? I was going to go quickly see if there was anything going on. Looks like he's just fishing.
That is true. The Myconids were just living when their child was killed.
That's fair. Did you want me to have a look around the corner, see if there's anything coming? Or just hang back and get my bow ready?
Maybe... I'm fairly confident that myself and maybe some of the other ranged things may be able to take on... Maybe, yes, sneak around to one of the corners, stay quiet, and keep an eye out.
Right.
If you see anything, just...
Stealth check for Harry.
Our safety is better than subtlety, so if you do see anything, literally just scream.
Harry has a 23 on stealth. You watch as Harry extinguishes his lantern. He has this hooded lantern. He just closes the gates on the hooded lantern, and then on these soft, silent pads vanishes into the gloom, disappearing down the corridor in front, his cloak wrapped around him, ears pulled back into his grey hood, and a small bandana pulled up over his mouth and lower jaw to sort of hide his greying fur.
Murder bunny.
Yeah. As Harry begins wandering down the corridor, are you guys staying back, or did you want to sort of advance forward too? I know, Dream, your original plan was to... Yeah.
I think Niles is pretty stealthy.
Yeah.
Well, he's sort of used to moving quietly and everything anyway. So I think he probably, as Harry kind of takes up one side of the cavern, Niles kind of looks around and goes, I might be able to have a look around the other side, see if I can get a better vantage point or something. I won't stray too far, just in case we want to take this chap out.
Well, in that case, I'm going to give a nod over to Lyra as Kong Chi starts slowly creeping forward the first couple of 5-10 feet. Do you have anything that can reach from here?
It's about 120 feet away, isn't it?
Exactly.
Right now, are we at the entrance of the cavern, though? Are we 80 feet from it? Or are we still on...
If you want to move up, I'll need stealth checks from everybody. If you're moving up to the 80 feet.
Well, Niles is doing all right.
25. Niles, you just follow Harry and disappear from view. Your feathers closing in around you, your wings creating a natural barrier for your clicking of claws upon the stone, absorbing the sound perfectly as you disappear like a ghost of a memory.
Cool.
Didn't and I'll hold here. If you guys engage, I'll send him forward to give you a hand.
Threign looks down at his axe, which is currently scraping against the roof of the cavern, lowers it down and goes, ugh, being stealthy again. I'll hang back. Looking down at his axe in disappointment. Ember looks between Lyra, Dream, and Threign, nods and goes, my vision's not great in the dark. I'll hang back so that it doesn't see any flame. But if you guys get into trouble, I'll rush forwards and shoot some fire. I can always teleport you in if you need. I can use...
I was actually about to say, how far can... I saw that happen. I'm thinking up plans here at the moment. I'm wanting to get Kong Chi and myself within range to rush it down before it has a chance to move. How far can you move us?
So, having a quick look through what I can do, probably the best thing I'm going to be able to do is teleport you 15 feet. So it's like... It's kind of to get you out of danger or into danger immediately. It's not so great over long distances. I haven't quite figured that out yet.
Okay. No problem. We'll maybe get Flicker to just hover near us, and I'll
starts
shout
to run.
out.
I can shoot you 15 feet towards it.
Exactly. That's my thought process as well. At least close some bit of a distance.
He gestures to Flicker, gets Flicker off his shoulder, and puts Flicker on your shoulder, Dream.
Okay, and I'll slowly start creeping forward with Harry down one side, Niles flying softly across the other, and Lyra getting ready for artillery in the back.
Alrighty, Dream, 11 for your stealth. The click of your claws is not so loud, but your long sword in the sheath at your side is cumbersome against the sloped ground. Crouching down, trying to stay low and quiet, actually makes it quite difficult to maintain silence as your sword occasionally clangs off the side of the corridor as well as the ground underneath you. Small rocks every time you're distracted, trying to prevent it from shifting, cracking underneath your feet and rolling down this sloped corridor, creating a little bit of a noise in front of you. Harry and Niles, the two of you sort of set off a little bit before this. As the two of you enter the cavern, you can see that it is a much larger open area. In fact, the water in front of you stretches far into the distance, probably another 200 or 300 feet into the darkness. Interestingly, though, there is a pathway leading back up into the rock face, which seems to stretch around. You can see the edge of it carved into the side of the cliff. And just out of sight, if you peer into the distance, you can see the soft glow of lights on what looks like an island out in the middle of this lake. Probably about 200 or 300 feet away from the shore. But if you were to go along this track, maybe a little bit longer as it weaves around the outside of the walls of the cavern. This creature, this fish-like creature, is definitely alone. There is no one else around it. It seems to have a basket full of these catfish, long barbells, almost like whiskers rising out from their mouths, and again, no eyes. These are completely blind, these creatures. The Kuatoa itself has at its waist what looks like a pearl, roughly about the size of a fist, glowing softly with luminescent light, strapped into a meshwork of nets at its waist, which it seems to be using for light. You can hear it still humming to itself as it throws out the net and pulls in a few more of the blind fish before reaching into a pouch and scattering this chum onto the water, this foul-smelling, very fishy bait that has a very pungent odor as it strikes the surface of the water. As it continually chums the water to attract attention. Yeah, and using sound to help bring in the catfish, occasionally slapping the water in time with the music. That's the next thing I was going to get to. As the rest of you begin making your way down the corridor, as Dream gets to the edge of the cavern, you watch as it cocks its head, the sound echoing in the empty chamber. And as it looks back, sort of glancing through the gloom, it sort of squints a little bit, holding a hand up before covering the light at its waist and looking around going, "What's there? Is there someone coming back from a scouting party? Hello? Hello?" As it calls out across the chamber.
I'm going to mount Kong Chi and get Kong Chi to start very quickly stealthing forward.
I'm going to definitely get us into initiative because I need to be able to control time at this point onwards. But definitely.
I did want to call back as well once we're ready.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Make sure you click on your... Oh, sorry, let me bring you across to... I'll pull you onto...
Do we have a map?
I don't for this section. I do for the next bit. So what I'm going to do... I'm going to pull you onto the Underdark entrance map for the moment, just because that's the map I do have that you click on your tokens. So yeah, just make sure you click on your tokens and then click initiative. I will also roll for Harry, Threign, and Ember, because they are with you. Harry has a +10 to initiative, if you guys were wondering.
He's crazy.
It's just insane. It's absolutely nuts.
I think the alert feat will do that.
The alert feat will do that. That is a fact.
Yep.
And I better roll for Ember too. Ember of the Collectums. Alrighty. So...
Wow. I really have this fun idea for like a strike team, like assassin rogue composition of a party where you basically, it all hinges around rogues and various subclasses of the rogue. But then you have like a paladin, which is the Order of the Watcher, which basically their oath is the plus. Like they get like a like rather than doing like bonuses to everything that they usually do. It's like I think based on the proficiency, they get like bonuses to their initiative.
Yeah,
so you can create like a really strong like first strike sort of team with that. It's really cool.
That is really cool. Yeah, that's brutal.
Kong Cheese should be 2 higher. It was using obviously my initiative when I roll for initiative because I can't roll on the extra stat sheet.
Done.
Nice.
Alrighty. Harry is first. Harry is going to have finished his little scout around and begin moving his way back to the entrance of the cavern. He's going to use his action dash, sprint back over, looking into the cavern, go, "Oh yeah, I think it's just him, guys. I think there's like some islands out in the middle of the lake." But he's whispering at this point. "I think there's some islands out in the middle of the lake. Maybe there's some more of them on the islands, but this one's just out here by himself fishing. I don't know what he's doing, bro. Just sort of hanging out there.
Looking for traps.
I don't know if he's up to mischief. Yeah, that's what I saw. Should I kill him? Should I knife him?" As Harry pulls out 2 daggers, puts one between his teeth, pulls out a third.
I'm guessing I'm probably not with Threign and Lyra and Harry at this point.
Harry's at the entrance with you, Dream. It's the others who are back slightly, only about 20 feet behind you.
Okay.
But Harry's sort of whispering back through the cavern. I'd say that given his action is going to be to move back and whisper, I'm going to say all of you hear this from Harry.
Communication is definitely something of importance. I don't feel like the Kuatoan should be too much of an issue. I'm about to charge it down now. Do you want to let the others know that it's only this one and we're going to take it out quietly? That way this doesn't blow into some... We don't want them being too loud. The idea is that we don't want that one to get into the water so that it can alert the village. If you just want to let everyone know to stay as quiet as possible, I'm going to try to finish this thing off before it can even get a chance to scream.
I like it. That's my style. Harry nods and begins making his way up the corridor to let the others know. Perfect. That is Harry's full go. Kong Chi, who is carrying you on his back.
Kong Chi, hearing the same sort of like instructions and tap on the side as Dream gets on, is going to go into like wolf hunting mode. That's it, go. Come on, get us closer. And is going to... So we're 120?
Yeah, about 120 feet away.
Okay. Kong Chi is going to, at that like quick crawl across the ground, to travel 60 feet, bringing us within 60 feet of it, I'm guessing. So that will bring us into its line of sight of darkness. And then is going to take a dash and travel the rest as it just goes into full sort of sprint like a lion rushing after it. And is going to close the distance, hopefully within 1 turn, silently and quickly, bringing me within 5 feet of it.
I will grab a stealth check from Kong Chi. This is going to be at disadvantage, given that Kong Chi is sprinting forwards, essentially, because you're having to action dash with Kong Chi, correct?
Rather than, yes, it's action dashing. Rather than dexterity to stealth, could this be athletics, as it's more so Kong Chi is just trying to bring me there, Usain Bolt, before it can react? like as
Yes.
hard and fast as
I
possible.
absolutely would allow that. Definitely.
Pure
Oh, yeah,
silence is
cool.
gone. It's more so just
100%.
trying to get there quick.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Okay. I can't roll its, so it'll be a +4 to whatever this is. A 14 athletics.
14. As Kong Chi sprints forwards, you watch as the Kuatoa, already kind of like looking around, a little bit hinted that there might be something out there in the gloom that is not yet spotted, emerging from the darkness as Kong Chi just essentially sprints forwards really quickly. You watch as the Kuatoa sort of turns, eyes wide, mouth open, this large fish-like mouth, revealing rows of tiny, jagged teeth. As it looks up, you watch as it drops the net from its hands in surprise, seeing Kong Chi just bearing down on it. As it looks up, as you bear down upon it, letting out a very frightened, quiet little cry. Not loud enough to draw attention, just a little like, as you begin bearing down on it.
Okay. In Dream's mind, this is just like a regular owl with a mouse in front of it as it's getting ready to just snatch away in the night.
Brilliant.
That's going to be Kong Chi's turn. Nothing for bonus actions, I don't think.
No, that's correct. Lyra.
Alright, so seeing that the stealth jig for this one particular dude is kind of up, she's going to, as her action, chill touch, because he's right on her 120 feet of range for that one.
Yep.
And then with her bonus action, she's going to ask Tim to move forward, like towards the Kuatoan for like the extent of his movement. Dash action if you can.
Okay, perfect. Anything else on your turn, Lyra?
Oh, that's right. You got Tim. I was like, who the fuck is Tim?
She'll probably creep forward 30 feet herself.
I forgot that Tim's been with us the whole time.
You've still
Just
got
shambling
this
along.
Darrow corpse reanimated with mushrooms, which since the last rest, the mushrooms have grown even more through the corpse at this stage. Each time you cast this, the corpse is going to become more and more covered in mycelium and more covered in mushrooms. Perfect. Tim will take a dodge action, and that's a chill touch for 22. That definitely hits a Kuatoa.
Dash action, sorry. If you can.
Oh, takes the dash action. Yeah, no problems at all. He can dash. So that'd be what, 50 feet? No, 60 feet. Let me pull open the zombie stats. Zombie, maybe it's only 40 feet. Zombies aren't very
only
fast.
40.
Only 40
He's only
feet.
20 feet. So.
Hey, still not bad. as Tim rushes forwards. 22 definitely hits though. Would you like to, so 4 necrotic damage as this, do you want to describe what your chill touch looks like? Because I don't think we've done a description of your chill touch.
I think for Lyra at the moment, it's probably really similar to, the hand coming out of the soil, but instead of, sort of the corpseified hand, I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's like red coral fungus, but it's like these sort of big, long, red, like flaming red mushroom bodies that sort of come out in the almost a hand shape.
Ramaria Ariospora, red coral fungus. That is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Yep. If you ever see one in the wild, do not touch it. Whatever you do, don't touch it.
There's also white ones that look like bones rising from the earth. Ramaria gracilis. That's cool.
So I should happily collect them and then put them in the bed of my enemy.
Are they dead man's fingers? Are they what the...
I think dead man's fingers is slightly different.
They're slightly different, are they? Yeah.
Yeah, the red corals are...
this is some intense
skin
music,
contact
sorry.
them, they cause extreme pain.
Ooh, okay.
So if you're going to put them in the bed of your enemies, wear gloves.
Or just don't do that. Just
don't touch them.
Don't do bad things. Don't do bad things, guys. Dead man's fingers fungus looks a little bit different. That's actually, to be honest, dead man's fingers looks even cooler. It's like,
cool looking.
Oh, that's so sick. Definitely Google dead man's fingers. That's one of the coolest mushrooms I've ever seen. Xylaria
Dead man's fingers
polymorpha.
mushroom, by the way, not just dead man's fingers.
Yeah, Google dead man's fingers mushroom. Otherwise, you'll get a rum as the first results, which probably is delicious. As this fungus grows up from the ground underneath, you just concentrate, Lyra, and send this pulse out from your hands as these tendrils, white, almost spines rising from the earth, forming rapidly as they fruit. The area around begins to blight, and you watch as the Kuatoa lets out this and the skin around its waist and legs where the fungus is grasping at begins to itch and burn the surface of the skin, blistering the scales, unable to protect it from the fungus. That is going to be 4 Damagios. Brilliant. Alrighty, anything else on your turn?
No, just 30 movement forward.
Perfect. Threign is going to see you rush forwards. Harry's going to get up and let him know. He goes, "Oh, great, fighting!" And he's going to use his entire action to sprint as far forward as he can. Threign can move 40 feet, which means he can run 80 feet, which gets him only 60 feet away from the Kuatoa. As he does so, Threign pulls out his Frost Carver axe, concentrates, and you watch as ice begins to merge along the outside, growing from his fingers, coating the outside in this layer of ice. He goes to let out a war cry, remembers briefly where he is, and instead goes, and stays silent.
Just quietly.
Getting ready to let out a belly,
Screams
but
quietly.
that does not do that. Alrighty. Why has my order gone weird? There we go. Harry, Kongchi, Lyra, Threign, Dream! It is your go next.
Okay. Now that Dream's within 5 feet, just hopefully as silently as can be, Dream is going to slice towards the shoulder stumps where the neck should be.
Yeah.
Trying to just fillet this thing quietly as I've emerged from the darkness.
You say fillet? Trying to fillet this thing.
Yeah.
Make me a melee attack.
This
would be a bad time for a nat 1.
Yeah. But we hit, baby. I'm hoping a 17.
17 does hit a basic Kuatoa who has an armor class, not that.
I don't think we're going to pop anything onto this. 7 more points of damage on top of the necrotic. That is going to slash through it.
Brilliant. 7 more damage. Done. As you carve through, the gill flaps around the edge of the Kuatoa's neck are carved into the axe. Sorry, no, your sword. Sorry, your long sword, this long bladed curved katana, slicing down across the shoulders and chests. The Kuatoa, eyes wide, can only gape in fear as it sees you just crouch on the back of Kongchi and then slice downwards. It is still standing.
And my extra attack for a 10 to hit.
10 is not going to hit. As you bring the blade back, the Kuatoa ducks underneath the swing. It does look like the Kuatoa is trying to do a thumbs up. It is weird that the artwork has that. for chat. Have you heard about our Lord and Savior Mugglebot? As he looks down, giving you a thumbs up.
I don't have the +10 channel divinity. Sad times. Okay, no, that's fine. In that case, as the attack misses, no, it's not worth using any of those. I'm going to dismount. Trying to swing myself when I dismount between the Kuatoan and the edge, if I can.
It's a good question. Can you just dismount? Just says you can mount once during your movement. So I'm guessing you can dismount during your movement, I would say.
I thought so, and I thought it was just that it's just half of my movement, which I'm not too chuffed about.
Which you've not used anyway. Yeah. Once you're mounted, or on turn after which you mounted, you can dismount and move up to half your speed. Yeah, easy done. You just jump off the back of your mount. I have to refresh myself on mounted combat, because the last time we played with mounted combat was 4 years ago? Oh,
wow.
So I'm just quickly refreshing my memory to make sure I don't make any mistakes. I am sure chat will let me know if I do, though.
So after 2 sort of stun attacks, the first one hitting the second one, the Kuatoa ducking underneath, almost in synchronicity, Kongchi is going to swing its head around, almost like rubber banding me, as I flip and land in front of it.
Do you know what you could almost do? You could almost do like the reverse Legolas mount, where rather than using the bridle to get onto the back of the horse, you just hold out one of your hands, grab the antler, and as Kongchi spins around, you just gracefully allow that momentum to pull you off the back of
definitely a
Kongchi.
thought process.
Yeah,
in my mind as well. Yeah, so gracefully with this sort of almost performance-based landing in front, but just trying to stop this thing as I then get into a linebacker pose. That's going to be my turn.
you don't know this, but Niles is watching on, very impressed with your movements. He's like,
Well, rather perfectly, it is Niles' go next. Niles, you are currently 80 feet away from this creature, having taken to the skies above to keep an eye on the cavern below. The roof of the cavern here rises up about 100 feet, so it's quite a tall cavern where you are now.
That's fine.
Yeah, you're about 80 feet away at this stage.
80 feet away. I will.
Death from above?
Ooh, death from above. That's kind of sick.
Claws outstretched on silent wings, dropping from the sky above, like a nightmare born from the shadows itself.
Yeah. I could do it. I could close the distance. He is gonna do it actually, because that's.
I love describing Owlin actions. Owlin is just the best.
If I'm 80 feet away,
yeah,
I can see that this Krutoa is looking pretty rough.
Kutoa has a large gash almost separating the top half of its neck with the lower half of its torso.
Yeah, he's not looking super crash hot.
In the words of
hazard a guess.
In the words of a famous song from the 20s, "Seen better days."
I get on my knees and I pray to my makeup.
You watch as he gets on his knees and starts praying to Maglubiat. Yeah.
I'm gonna use Step of the Wind as a bonus action and just take to as high as I possibly can in the cavern space, so we're like arcing towards.
Harengon Falcon this.
Harengon Falcon this. I'm going to just strike down with a taloned kick, like using the momentum of this strike and just try and just one hit, just take this guy out.
Please make me an attack, and while you do that, Niles, as you flap up a few more times and then just close your wings close to your body, forming this incredibly tight aerodynamic shape, you just drop, quickly reaching terminal velocity right at the last second, flicking your wings out to the side, turning all of this vertical momentum into horizontal striking power. I'm ready for a natural 20.
Natural 1.
Yeah. And then smash into the water, aquaplaning, bouncing end on end before sinking below the waves. No, let's see. Come on. I believe, Matt. I believe.
That's a 20.
That's 20. Unnatural.
Hey.
Still good.
Dirty 20.
Dirty
20.
Would you like to roll me some damage now too? But I'd say I don't think your minimum damage is less than. What I'm trying to say is I don't think you can't. Yeah, 6. Yeah.
6.
How do you want to do this?
That was minimum damage as well.
It was, yeah.
5 would have killed it. So 6 is. There was no way you couldn't do this. How would you like to do this?
I mean, I kind of described it already, right? I use this momentum
Wings
force.
closed.
I think this is more of a general Owlin combat tactic. I mean, Niles has but he's trained under various Owlin doctrine. And he just takes this right out of the page of how the warrior monk Owlin fight, and he just in a stealthy condition, he just sort of sails up, comes down with the full force of his body and weight, and just strikes as hard as he can, just to incapacitate.
Wow, really putting salt in the wound for me.
I really love how, the idea in my mind, right, is that the Owlin have very much Taekwondo, karate, judo, how they all have in the native tongues, Korean, Chinese, Japanese, they all have very poetic names that when they translate into English become almost like a stanza of poetry in itself. I love the idea of this one being on dark wings, death falls from above is the translation into common for this particular attack, as Niles just drops down.
It probably happens, I imagine, in the flavor of this whole encounter, it happens very quietly as well.
Yes.
Instant. You just hear this, very, quick wing beat, and then this, it's almost like an arrow, sailing through the cavern, and then just this whack. And Niles just, lands.
I was going to describe for Dream, as you cut off the escape of this creature, you blink, and this creature's head is gone. The body sort of twitches for a few moments and then drops to the ground, and you watch as flying up from this incredible dive, Niles just chucks the fish head out of his talons, just dropping it as it lands and squelches onto the floor next to the body. The mouth still agape, eyes sort of rolling around, before
There is
falling still.
To anyone who has a decent perception on this, Niles is usually a pretty happy-go-lucky guy. It's pretty safe to say there was a very serious flash across Niles' face, probably the most serious we've ever seen him. Like he looks like
falling back upon your training, your killer instinct once again coming through. As the body sort of like falls limp, twitching, and then lands on the ground, still flopping about a little bit as the residual muscle twitches continue to animate the body. I am going to pull you all out of initiative. That is the only creature within range right now.
That was a bit unpleasant, wasn't it? Oh, poor fellow didn't know what hit him.
Yes, no, you were amazing.
Well, thank you.
Threign rushes up, sees the fish head on the ground, and steps on it, crushing it underneath his boot. Oh, see? I got it. It is all good. You can relax. I killed it.
Yes, well done, Threign. Excellent. Well,
The eye was still moving. I hear these creatures that they do not need their bodies to be dangerous.
oh yes. Where have you heard this before, Threign? I didn't know you were
just
such
places.
an expert on the Underdark. Oh.
Well, if you spent less time with head in book, you would learn more thing.
Oh no, well, of course I'm.
Hard to hear when ears are covered by dusty pages. I have heard said.
Yes. I am quite the bookworm. You got me.
Dream is gonna lean down as everyone's chatting and pick up that light rock that it was holding.
Yeah, as you do, Dream, it's actually not a rock. It's a glass, almost like a buoy. And as you pick it up, you can see it's filled with this glowing liquid. Buoy. There is a cork jammed into the top of it. It looks like this is some worked glass. The edges are very thick, probably about an inch, maybe inch and a half thick. And it's filled with this softly glowing, luminescent liquid. And as you tip it and turn it, you can see in the center of this liquid are a few strands of what look like some sort of seaweed slowly dissolving, bubbles rising from the surface as it is dissolved by whatever this liquid is, creating this luminescent light.
So it doesn't look like it's permanent. It's a temporary light source.
That's a good question. Do you want to roll me a quick nature or... Yeah, I'd say nature check.
Because Dream's not sure,
Yeah.
rather than just sort of like guessing
Guess
it.
it.
This is what it was using. Anything we can learn about these people will be important. If they use this as a source of light, it means that their eyes may not be as adjusted to the Underdark as we suspected. I'm not sure. In either case, they're carrying these around them for safety. It looks fairly flimsy. We can probably shatter it. But I can see seaweed, fungus associated, nature associated. Lyra, would you be able to? I'm just wondering whether or not it is a short term.
Wrong suit.
Ember will have a bit of a look. What's Ember's nature check?
But on
Ember's pretty nature.
Yeah, I think Ember's a lot higher than Lyra is.
Ember will look at you, Lyra, and go, look, you tell me how fungus glow and I'll see if it matches with what I know about plants. We can together put our heads together. Ember will roll with advantage then with your assistance. That is a natural 1, but it is balanced out with the advantage for a total of 19.
Oh wow!
Okay.
Ember, lucky Lyra's helping with that. Ember sort of pauses for a second, looks at it, and goes, "I'm pretty sure this is." Oh no, I was going to say this is edible. It's definitely not edible. But I'm pretty sure there's some sort of acid in there that's slowly dissolving this to create the light. I think the seaweed and the liquid inside together create this luminescence, this light. It's a little bit similar to what we do sometimes with glow paste up on the surface. I don't know. Do you ever use glow paste in your enclave, Lyra? Maybe it's a Firbolg thing.
Funny you mention that. Not in the circle. Probably a story for a later time. But many of these mushrooms can be used to make some very cool glow paint. I've found out. So maybe after we deal with all this, we can find some and bring them back with us.
We might take some back with us. We would sometimes use for special markings and special ceremonies. We would create this glow paste out of various crushed beetles, and we would then have to add this sap to it and mix it up. And it's non-toxic for the skin, but it only glows for about an hour and a bit. I think this is similar to that, but I don't think we should touch this. The way that's dissolving the the seaweed in there, I don't think we want to touch that.
Yeah.
My thought more so was whether or not it would be worth us keeping it, and I guess just the idea of this thing will eventually dissolve all of the seaweed so that it just does not work anymore.
I'm pretty sure I could recognize the seaweed if I saw it again. I mean, there's no harm taking it with us, and then if it goes out, I'll just look for some more seaweed. And if I find some, I can put it in, it'll glow again. If it doesn't, at least we've got this vial of whatever this liquid is.
I wonder if we could mash it into a paste and then sell it at a bakery.
I don't think this is fit for consumption, but I mean, if you want to give that a go, you can. He sort of gives you.
Well,
a bit of a look.
I just say that because we were in the city before we came here, and we came across some very strange sea cucumbers that they were mashing into. Lyra still got some. Getting a bit of a collection of various
chemical ingredients
related items. Yes.
I will add a Kuatoa light flask that has a weird, unique liquid and seaweed.
You may, if you want to call it a seltzer lantern, you may do so.
Oh.
I was just thinking, rather than tucking it away out of sight, if this shore bank is within sort of visual distance for these guys, it could also be part of a signaling, sort of system, like, sort of put out light if in danger or something.
Well, in that
I think
case,
we should keep our own lights off.
I will add that the Kuatoa,
You make a good point.
with closer inspection, very large yellow eyes with massive pupils, not dissimilar from those of an owlin.
Oh.
Okay.
So what's the...
So they're obviously not going to have too bad of a vision. Maybe this was like what you're saying, Lyra.
If I just had an idea though, if not for signaling purposes, I mean, looking at these guys' eyes, I mean, surely they can sort of see half decent down here. But it could be a fishing implement, as in they could be.
Lyra, can you shake it like a wriggling worm above the water's surface? And I'm going to lean to the edge. Is it like a beach that slowly goes in, or is it a drop?
It's a beach, gravel beach.
Okay, never mind. I was going to put my head down and see what was underneath, but that would just be ostriching.
Seeing that it's in like this, the net kind of housing, this thing, she ties a bit of her rope to it, ties the other end of that to the end of her quarterstaff, and like not sticking it in the water, but sort of jiggles it just above the surface so that the glowing orb is on the water surface, the quarterstaff is safely away, and just sort of like.
Could you please roll me a D100?
As this is happening, Dream's going to ask Niles to sort of help him take a quick look to see if there's a boat nearby, like left or right of us on this beach.
Yeah, I can do that. I'll sort of glance around for a vessel.
You don't need to roll a perception or investigation check. There are no boats along the edge of the water. There are a small collection of baskets over near this pathway that leads up around the cliff face, around the edge of this large lake. There's a few baskets stacked up, but no other signs of watercraft. In the water itself, only a few feet away from the shore, there are pillars where a boat could be tied, posts of wood sunk into the ground itself, but you don't see any signs of any boats tied to them at the moment. 57, Lyra. As you begin bobbing this lantern up above the surface of the water, Harry's going to have a bit of a peek through the Kuatoa's pockets, because that's exactly what Harry would do. And Ember's going to help you, Lyra, having a bit of a peek out over the edge. Threign is going to stomp on over to the edge of the cliff and begin sort of kicking over the baskets and looking up around the pathway going, you said there was a village this way. Why we not go kill? We here. Why are we standing? Come on. Threign sort of like is getting impatient again. Lyra, 57. As you and Ember stand on the edge of the shore, how close to the water are you standing?
Not right on the cliff's edge, just sort of thinking.
Well, it's on a beach, so good news is you can't stand on the edge of a cliff. Are you wading into the water? Are you standing
She's not
on the
wading
beach?
in, like probably toes up to the edge of the water kind of thing, like...
Enough that the water's washing your boots, but not getting in through the seams.
Yeah, if she can figure out like a way to like sort of cast it like a fishing rod to get more distance, she will. But otherwise, just sort of.
So you want to
arms
sort of like
length off.
throw it out so it lands in the water itself.
Yeah, like she doesn't, she doesn't want the thing like if there is something in the water, she doesn't want it to chomp onto the end of her quarterstaff, or her toes.
Okay, but you said you tied the rope around the net that was holding this seltzer lantern in place. So if you chucked it out, you could almost throw it like a net out into the water.
Yeah, I'm sort of thinking slip knot, like just sort of something that'll slip through.
Can
has a little bit of
I get an
dexterity to it.
acrobatics or athletics check to see how far out into the water this is thrown? I just need to
Acrobatics
know
all
for
the
some
way.
reasons.
For no reason.
I just need to know.
Oh.
Just interested. 17. Lyra, you swing this round relying on centrifugal force, you and let it fly. As the light arcs through the air, lands in the water with a bit of a splash, it doesn't sink. The amount of air inside the vial is enough to keep it buoyant, and the water, whatever this liquid is inside of it, must be of equal or slightly lower density than the water around it to offset the weight of the glass. As it bobs on the surface of the water, silently, comes to a rest. It sits there. And then, suddenly, you watch as it suddenly bumps a little bit over to the side. Could I get you to roll me a perception check? You have advantage as Ember is helping you with this.
Perception 1, 2.
Looking out over the unbroken surface of the lake with a 17, you see a long, sinuous shape rise up, bump against the lantern, and then drop back below the water. And then suddenly, with a rush, you watch as this long serpent-like form, almost pale blue-white, rises up, this large head, almost sleek back with these stunted horns, pink spots along its head, and this large, scaled, more open wide. This creature's probably about 50 feet long and roughly about 20 feet wide. As it rises up, closes down around the edge of the buoy, and then pulls it underneath. The rope suddenly pulled tight against your hands. My question is, are you holding on or letting go?
Assuming that the rope is tied more with a slip knot, the kind of thing that she can let go of and not lose her quarterstaff, she'll let go. If it's fixed to the quarterstaff, then she's holding on for dear life.
Okay. I'm going to get you to roll me another D100 just for fun. Let's see if this knot pulls off the edge of the quarterstaff or if you're going for a swim.
Wow.
Let's have a look-see, Lou. 64. The knot pulls and you feel this sudden jerk as your feet give way underneath you. Ember reaching out to grab hold of you before the knot slips off the edge of your staff, almost falling into the black surface of this lake as the creature and then disappears below the rope, disappearing below the water as well with a vanishing. The light illuminating the inside red hollow cavity of this creature. You watch as the light slides through, revealing this translucent skin as this serpent-like creature, tiny vestigial arms, tiny vestigial wings, circles and then dives back below.
Is there someone else swimming?
Yes, I don't fancy swimming. No. Nope.
Can Dream do a history check or nature or arcana or whatever?
Yeah, I'd say history or nature. History or nature.
I would like to roll that too.
For those of you who are playing along and are going, what is that creature? You do not know. This is a homebrew creature. You will not find it in the monster manual yet. 5. Just like Dream, you look at this creature and go, some sort of eel. It's an eel. 7 for Niles. It's a big eel.
It's a big one.
You've heard of deep sea gigantism. Maybe deep cave gigantism is a thing? You're not sure.
Why did it have wings and little legs? It's like an underwater obese dragon.
I'm not a fan. No, I don't want to fight that thing.
Okay.
Pass for me.
I should roll for Ember. Ember would care about this. I will roll for Ember. Roll a nature check.
He would absolutely care.
Ember would care. 18, Ember.
Yeah, there we go.
Ember sort of like nods along, like mouth slightly open, and then seeing you guys sort of like looking around a bit confused, he goes, that was a lungworm. Have you guys ever heard of them before?
Oh,
A what now?
nothing lives in your lungs?
No.
Ah.
No. It's a WYRM anyway. It's a type of cave dragon. I've only ever heard about them. I'm going to be honest, I didn't know they were real.
Oh, a cave dragon.
Yeah, type of cave dragon.
Dragons have lungs?
I don't know.
Are they like normal dragons, but in caves? That did not seem like a dragon
Well,
I've heard of.
there's lots of different types of lung dragons. I don't think it's anything to do with like lungs and breathing. I'm not really sure about that, but I can tell you that they're much more long and sinuous than, much more serpent-like than the dragons we know from the surface world.
Because it looks like one giant lung, I'm guessing?
No, it's long and thin. It's more like a worm, hence the worm. But then it's spelt wrong anyway. It's WYRM.
Pinky and fleshy. That's what I was
It
thinking.
is, yeah. I think the scales sort of give them this. Anyway, I mean, the illustration I'd seen of one had these like long fronds, like red like fans coming out from the side of the head, almost forming like a head crest of these red fans, like an
don't make it
axolotl.
anymore. Don't make it more any. What's an axolotl? What's that?
It's like a type of lizard, like a salamander, lives in caves, but it has its gills on the outside.
Do you know if it's something that we could converse with or have to fight? You mentioned the Tempest Guild dealing with Tiamat, and have you encountered dragons before, any of you?
Not myself personally.
I would have, but I died.
Oh yes. You just
Actually,
that part of the
oh my
story,
god,
didn't you?
you were dead for all the dragon encounters, weren't you?
Yeah.
Apart from the
My
hatchery.
only knowledge of it is secondhand from Shana and the rest of the guild.
That's hilarious.
Because the only dragon you would have interacted with was the green dragon at the hatchery, like from the town of Greenness beforehand. But then you guys didn't really fight it, and then later on.
No, she wasn't at Green Nest either, I don't think.
You came in later. Yeah.
She came in with Lucky. So she
only-
hasn't.
Did you encounter the clockwork dragon on the airship? No, that was you guys came in after the clockwork dragon because that was the defeating of the clockwork dragon is when. So you didn't actually. So the whole time you played Tyranny of Dragons.
The clockwork dragon, when we were in the town in this current campaign, is the only experience with dragons that she's had.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Even the white dragon in the north, that was all still Shana.
A Rathator. That's amazing that in the campaign Tyranny of Dragons, your character Lyra never once interacted with a dragon. It was only the other character Shana. That's great. Because
you were making it about 30 episodes.
You were Lyra for about 30 episodes. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
That's almost impressive, actually, and a bit of an eye opener for me. Clearly, I didn't throw enough dragons at you. Don't worry.
And the
I'll
bronze
make up for
dragon
lost time.
on the ship was also after she died.
Yeah, that was after you died.
Oh no, was it bronze or red?
Red, and then when you guys went to Chiari, which is the continent of dragons, that was all Shana. So all of the dragon stuff, all of the dragon content you missed. That's hilarious.
That's funny.
That's a meme right there. That's amazing.
That is a huge meme.
You watch as I almost called him Wiltix. You watch as Ember shakes his head a little bit and goes, I don't know if they're intelligent. I'm just going to put it out there. The only book I've read on this was by this crackpot person called Fizban, who wrote this whole thing about dragons, and I didn't really read much about this. From memory, I don't think these ones are particularly intelligent. Their time underground has sort of regressed them. They're much more bestial, I think. I think it was just hunting. But then the question is, right, the Kuatoa, do they cover the lanterns when they're in the water? Like, what do they use the lanterns for? Is it a signal to attract this thing?
Well, it did the job. I don't know if I would want to keep that on my person if I'm going swimming. That seems like a death trap. Yes, I'm very confused. I need some time to think about this. So we can't really go in the water because that thing will just eat us. Not really.
There's that wall shelf thing.
That Harry mentioned.
Oh yes, yeah.
Let's go and quickly check that out. Maybe there might be something important. There was more baskets near there, wasn't there?
Harry emerges from behind a rock, quivering slightly, his prey instincts having been kicked in when this creature emerged from the depths to consume the tiny light. I saw a pathway up around the edge that seems to lead across a little rocky outcropping. Threin's over there kicking some baskets now if you wanted to go join him. I think he's getting out some aggression. Threign at this point rushes back, axe out, seeing the dragon disappear under the water, looks down and goes, "Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I am too late again?" As he looks at the dragon, just disappearing into the dark water.
Oh yes, Threign, that would have been a worthy adversary. Although, I mean, not to doubt your abilities, but that thing was quite large.
Get me another. Get me another. I want another light
Get you
to
another.
throw in. Get
How
me
long
another
can you
light.
hold your breath for?
As long as I need to kill things.
No, but realistically, how long can you hold your breath for?
Maybe a minute at best.
Okay, not
I have
long
not
enough.
practiced.
No, that's
You
not
would
gonna
die.
work, Threign. Yes. Who would have thought that the greatest foe that faces you is water? Yes.
No, it's his own lungs.
His own lungs, of course. Although, Threign, you are quite... Maybe you have a better lung capacity than
We don't do
than
much
other
swimming up in the
creatures.
north. It is icy and cold.
Oh, that makes sense.
Dream's going to wander over with Harry while these guys are talking about his lung.
Perfect.
I nod a little bit and go join you.
Oh, Harry, sorry, before we go off, did you find anything on the Kuatan?
Nothing that interesting, he says.
Do I believe you?
What? Why wouldn't you? You can roll an insight check if you like.
Yeah, no.
Inside check.
I should roll deception for Harry really
And my
quickly.
browser's so...
Harry is a deceptive little bunny. I have just seen
He
his
sure
deception.
Yeah, he's tricky.
So we've got a 15 from Lyra. Yeah, he seems legit.
I believe you.
Purely because you have to roll a deception check means it's not telling the truth. So.
I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, no, it's all good. I didn't find anything that interesting. Just some bits that I might try and sell later on. Nothing interesting. Just some like stuff.
Oh, like cool ingredients and stuff?
Nah, nothing like that.
Like
He
cool rocks?
puts a hand on his pouch. Nah, no rocks. No rocks.
No rocks are ingredients. Fish? But you don't eat fish.
Anything you'd like to share with the rest of the party, perhaps?
He like reaches in and pulls out a few tiny gemstones, which he like holds out in his paw. This is everything.
I give him a bit of a
That's boring.
squint. Yes, I'm sure it is.
Do you want to make me a persuasion check, Niles, with your squint? Just out of interest.
Oh, wait. Any of those gems look like emeralds?
Good question.
Or diamonds?
No emeralds or diamonds. These do look like fragments of... Let me quickly pull open my list of gems. Fragments of apatite, this light, almost frosty blue crystal-like formation. Which I'm not sure you would just know. I don't know why I'm giving out that information for free. Niles, 8 persuasion. Harry sort of like looks around, nods, and goes, "No, that was it. Nothing else." Oh, there was this statue, but you wouldn't be interested in that. Just a little figurine, like a little toy.
Was it well just it's all yours by all means. But was it a fishy statue, or was it like a normal, like humanoid statue? This is kind of important information.
Gives me the woolies, and he reaches into his
the
pocket.
woolies?
Gives me the woolies.
Could we have a look at it?
As he pulls out the statue, you see what looks like an elongated octopus, tentacles emerging from a central point, and in the very center, a black hunk of obsidian rising from the center of this fleshy, monstrous appearance.
I just saw it, like, who? Yep, woolies. Yes, I'm feeling it too. Who?
It makes me feel a bit spooked when I'm holding it.
Maybe next time you get your wand out, you should take a look at it with your special eyes.
Well, actually, perhaps Dream has seen this before. Dream?
Yes?
Does this look familiar at all to you? I know you...
What the fuck?
Dream, this looks nothing like an aboleth or the descriptions of an aboleth that you've been given. This is something wrong, something monstrous. It's asymmetrical, it's bizarre.
I'll take that as a no, then.
The creature that I thought killed that mage up there and I thought was working alongside, but the aboleth that was mentioned, from my reports, it's meant to look like a giant white sperm with a mouth.
It's not a bad description, actually. it's not far off. I will, for everyone's interest, I will put a picture of an aboleth in the just so that you can enjoy this as much as as much as Christian and I are.
Niles is going to pretend he knows exactly.
But
what
the guy, the corpse, when we asked him, said that he wasn't killed by an aboleth. So, see, it's like a giant white man.
Well, maybe he was attacked by whatever the fuck this is then.
Maybe. He said he was blasted. His mind was blasted.
Well, I mean, his chest cavity was certainly blasted. But yeah, maybe.
Like a pain in his head. I've heard that aboleths enslave others. That's why I was so certain that it was an aboleth. But no, I don't know what that is.
I mean, I'm no expert in this. But if that fish man carried around a little statue of this thing, it must have some powerful energy or something. I'm just saying.
We should hold on to it. Just in case we can use it to pretend that we're worshippers of them in case we get...
I just immediately hand it back to Harry, like, oh yeah, you can take it. I don't want that anywhere near me.
Oh, thanks, Brew. I'll keep it safe.
It's like if you came across a worshipper of a different deity, you might pretend in front of those worshippers that you're on good terms with that god so that they see you in a better light. If we do come across too many Kuatoans and this one was holding this, we might be able to use that to our advantage.
I believe that ruse may work, but until they realize that their friend hasn't returned from the fishing trip.
As Harry takes back the statue, you hear him mutter under his breath, Cthulhu for Targan, and then he tucks it away.
Wait, what?
No, I'm kidding. I couldn't resist.
Actually, on that note, so just before we head off, Lyra, does anyone else have anything to do with this body?
Are you going to make another Tim?
No, I was going to throw it into the ocean, so the lake, so that if any other search parties come around, no one finds this dead body.
Oh, we should.
Yes.
The bridge only looks like it's a couple of meters. Maybe we save the body because we can do that same thing and maybe distract the weird lung, pancreas, dragon stomach thing.
Pancreas dragon. That is a homebrew monster I'm going to have to work on.
Threign, can you carry this for us?
Of course, this thing is weak and small. Threign lifts down, picks it up by the leg and begins pulling it behind him, leaving a streak of blood.
I don't think it's much of anything anymore,
bluish
Threign.
blood.
Stop fighting you.
Alrighty. As you guys
As
you guys begin making your way over towards the edge of the rocky outcropping, I'm going to guess that you guys are taking it a bit slow and stealthy still. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah.
I'm going to do an average group stealth check. Could everyone please roll me a stealth check? I will roll for Threign, Ember, and Harry as they are.
Also, like the same mold earth, like if it looks like there's that same porous rock that like we're likely to like fall through the path or anything.
You'll be pleased to know that this section of the cliff face is very, very well maintained.
What the hell? The dice landed on a 15, but it gave me a 10. I got robbed.
You've been robbed. So we've got a 12 from Threign, 10 from Dream.
Do I have to roll for Tim?
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'll
definitely.
roll for
Definitely for Tim.
Conchi.
We've got a 14 for Ember, 23 for Niles, 25 for Harry, 11 for Lyra, and 15 for Kong-Chi.
That's a pretty good average.
Average? I think that's going to come out to... Not anymore. What's wrong?
Oh no.
There's one more coming.
Oh no.
Hey,
17. It's fine.
17.
So overall, that average is about 19, 19, I believe. So what? So 12, 10, 14, 23, 25, 11, 15, 17. Yeah, that averages out to about 17, 18 overall. That's fantastic. That could have been a lot worse. Remember that Threign has Threign's got a +2 to stealth. He's not too bad.
It's not too bad.
Perfect.
I can't believe that Tim rolled a 17.
Tim rolled a 19, minus 2 for 17.
He's a neg 2.
Minus 2.
Stealthy boy.
As you all begin making your way up around the rock face, the cliffside pathway that's being carved out is clearly commonly used. You can see that there are many, many footprints, scratches along the walls where it's been very well maintained. That this is an area that is clearly kept at peak condition, kept safe, kept well used. And as you get closer around the edge, the rock wall continues for about 150, 200 feet around the outside of the cave before moving out over the open lake, a pathway made of stone, forming a bridge down towards these narrow islands below. You can hear the sound of chanting, soft glow of fires from around the village as the island area in front of you begins to move into view. The camp is made up of what looks to be one large central island and two smaller islands. A series of tents have been constructed around the smaller islands and a massive tent in the very center. All around are the ruins of what looks like ancient stonework, very different in style to the tents that have been constructed of hide and leather. The stonework is this greyish blue stone, ancient and aged, covered in faded markings. An archway rises in the very center of the stone bridge at the entrance to the village before you. The sound of chanting and drum beats grows louder and louder as you begin to walk across the bridge. And you see, standing in front of the main tent, visible to your eyes, even those of you without dark vision, as the fires around this tent rise high, creating a soft glow. The drum beats rise in intensity. Boom, 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 boom. And then as this figure raises his staff high above, a shell etched, carved into the top, the crowd falls silent.
Come, followers. Today we bring our god Shadaridak back into the world. Bow before Shadaridak.
And you hear around, echoing through the cavern, voices crying out. Many voices.
All hail Shadaridak! All hail Shadaridak!
Answering one another. There's a sudden pulse of light as all of the Kuatoa drop to their knees, bowing before this priest, raising his staff high above. His eyes take on this bright blue light, and as he raises his hands, energy begins to coalesce between his fingers.
Look, I'm Aaron Yeagering this. I'm not letting him finish his transformation.
Yeah.
As soon as he starts like raising to summon some fucking god that he's talking about.
None of that.
On Kong Chi, and I'm charging the archpriest down.
Brilliant. You as you guys are sort of making your way along this narrow ledge, this is all kind of happening about 100, maybe 80 feet away as you charge forward on Kong Chi.
I'm happy for everyone to catch up.
100 or 80 or 180?
Sorry, it is 100 feet to the edge of the village, which would make it 10, 20, 30, 40. So that'd be 140 feet to get to Archpriest. The Archpriest rising above the... Because where I've placed you on the map is at the entrance to the battle map, but it's not quite where you guys are. You're a little bit of a
I'm happy
back.
with that. One dash will bring
20
me
feet
within...
forward, Lyra can hit him.
Perfect.
Oh, true.
As you guys are all charging forwards to this, the cliffhanger I am going to end on today is hovering above the large tent. Invisible until the priest begins glowing with energy is what looks like a crystal black geode. And as it cracks around the outside, that is where we're going to end for tonight. And we will come back with everybody to experience that together. There was no way I was going to let the others miss this.
Holy shit.
All hail Shadaridak.
And that is where we're ending for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. I hope
just
that
want
is
to kill some
a
fish.
suitable cliffhanger for tonight.
Wow.
We are going to be back next week for more Return of the Giants. And the good news is it is not the end next week. We are actually going to be going for another week after that. Wednesday the 20th will be our last session before Christmas. So we will definitely have this session and another session for the next one. So we will get through this combat encounter. This is not a single episode combat encounter. This is a multi-episode combat encounter. This is... I've had a lot of fun designing this battle map. I cannot wait for you guys to see it. It's been loads of fun.
Wow.
Alrighty.
Not terrifying at all.
It should be terrifying. I've been getting a little bit into so there's a little behind the scenes, but I'm going to share this now for those lovely people who stuck around to the end. I have a sci-fi D&D Eldritch Horror one-shot that I'm working on that's going to be about 4 sessions. It's going to be the same rules as D&D, but I've retextured and reflavored some things for space. So rather than an armor class, you'll have a recharging shield of temporary hit points. That's an energy shield that replenishes after a few turns of not getting hit. But it's going to be an Eldritch Horror style space-themed adventure does take place in the same universe as Nostea. Just a part of Nostea we haven't seen yet. So I'll be announcing that next year, but I'm going to get some special guests for that one, and it's going to be a 4-episode little one-shot sci-fi space thing, but yeah, very much Eldritch psychological horror style.
Amazing.
Yeah, I had an idea for a Eldritch monster after watching the most recent Doctor Who episode, The Wild Blue Yonder, which is one of the greatest horror episodes I've ever seen. And they did not go far enough with the horror. They hinted at it, and then they pulled back. And I was like, no. There's so much more disturbing shit you could do with this. So I'm going to do it, because it's really fun. But from all of us here tonight, thank you so much. If you've made it to the end, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Otherwise you'll make Christian sad. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button. And if you would like to leave a comment, please do. We have our Avatar Legends Q&A session next week. If you had any questions about the campaign, please chuck them in the Discord. And I was going to ask, Ali, did you want to join us for that? Because you played for a very large portion of the Q&A session. Sweet as.
Sure.
Jump on with Brandon. I figure you may as well come and join us. You were around for like 70% of that campaign, so I think it'd be good to find out what Oki did after the end of that campaign, which we will discuss in the Q&A session.
Cool.
But from all of us here tonight, thank you so much for joining us. We will be back for the fight Christian has been waiting for 2 weeks for next week.
I only got to kill one.
I know. Yeah. Well, I when you guys took this session a little bit slower, I wasn't sad, because it does mean that the others will be here for it. It was going to be a bit sad to miss half the crew for this particular episode, and we do have everyone back next week.
I thought the dragon was the combat, and then I remember that I'm also a dungeon master, and not every creature you see is a combat encounter.
Exactly.
I actually have a rule
where
we have to fight it.
There's a minimum of 4 ways that you can get via any encounter that I come up with. There's minimum of 4 that I will think of, minimum, and only 1 or 2 of them will be involving combat. I always try and make sure there's multiple ways around every single encounter, and it's all up to you guys. And 90% of the time, these guys choose option 5, which I had not considered, which is always loads of fun. So I do recommend that. It is always good practice to get into the mindset of like whatever situation you set up, make sure there's multiple ways to that you can think of approaching it as a DM, because the players will think of something that you haven't thought of, I promise, every time.
We join the Kuatoans and slay the entire Myconid village.
You totally could do that. I actually have no, you're laughing, but I have a system in place for someone who the Kuatoans believe in, because you know how the Kuatoan belief can create gods. I wanted to homebrew what that might look like. I have done so. I have created a system of Kuatoan belief boons, and it's going to be like the epic boons from Mythic Odyssey of Theros. If the Kuatoans believe in you as a god, there is a benefit to you. Wow. It's not a permanent benefit, but it is a benefit.
Well, too bad we're making sushi next session.
Too bad you're making sashimi.
Like, oh, wow. Those Myconids were cool and all, but like, god status?
I suddenly just have a
pretty good to me.
feeling about the Kuatoans.
I really feel like a bit of sushi train. And we're going to be chopping up the Kuatoans next turn. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Stay safe, stay well. We will see you all again really, really soon. But until then, farewell, everybody. Goodbye.
Good night.
Oh, the merch store is now live on YouTube. If you want to get some cool merch and look like a baller, make sure you do so. There's loads of cool new stuff, and there's going to be new designs dropping every week on the lead up to Christmas. That is a promise from me to you that I will stick to, including loads of stickers with quotes from the characters. I've been working on special stickers with character quotes. There's so many good quotes for the characters. For one, I think the Yervith with a Thorn Whip border going fucking Thorn Whip is probably one of my favorites.
That's brilliant. That's very good.
So that is something to look forward to as well. Until next time, everybody, stay safe, stay well. Goodbye.
Good night.